The interview was conducted a day after the tragedy happened in Elsinore Castle in Denmark. Horatio was the only surviving witness who knows every details of how it started and ended. Imagining the trauma Horatio had gone through, the voice will be portrayed shaking and trembling.
Mr. Horatio, how did you meet Hamlet?
I met him at Wittenberg University in Germany, and we were both students.
What was your relationship to Hamlet?
He was my friend, to be exact, a dear and close friend. Despite Rosencrantz and Guildenstern to be Hamlet's buddies, they were more like his boyhood friends.
Mentioning about Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, do you think Hamlet despised them for being one-sided toward his enemy, King Claudius?
One thing for sure was that Hamlet loved them both dearly. As I mentioned, they were like his childhood buddies and shared a lot of fun memories together. But it was unfortunate that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern had turned their back on Hamlet. They were only misguided by the money that was offered by King Claudius. I don't personally judge them as traitors or bad people. Their intention was to help Hamlet regarding his insanity, but money had tempted them to go deeper and be involved in their quest.
Did you try stopping Hamlet in harming Rosencrantz and Guildenstern?
I never really knew about the plot. My dear friend Hamlet mentioned to me before he died that King Claudius sent him to Europe along with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern with a letter. One thing for sure, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern never really knew about the content of the letter. The letter was supposed to be handed to the King of Europe and ordering Hamlet to be beheaded. Hamlet secretly opened the letter and changed the content. He then wrote to execute both Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Our poor friends. The two got killed instead. On that event, for the first time, I disagreed on Hamlet's decision. I thought that the two were also victims caught up on this family dispute.
When you first heard about the ghost, did you instantly believe its apparition?
No, I didn't even have a doubt that the ghost was not real. Based on my philosophy and high intellect on arts and sciences, I immediately concluded that it was just a fantasy.
This is just a follow-up question. Have you seen the ghost? If so, what was your reaction?
Oh yes, I saw the ghost indeed. I got really scared. I couldn't believe what I saw. I attempted to talk to him, but the ghost didn't exchange any words to me. It seems that he was looking for someone, and that time I knew that this ghost was King Hamlet.
Mr. Horatio, you were one of the first people who witnessed on the apparition of the ghost. How could you instantly knew that this was the late King Hamlet?
I saw what the ghost was wearing. I was familiar with the suit. I knew that it was the same armor when King Hamlet wore against Norway. He was victorious in that war. From that, they displayed proudly his portrait, wearing the armor as part of commemorating his achievement.
Did you went to Hamlet and tell about his father's apparition?
As a friend, I felt obligated to tell this apparition. The next night, together with Hamlet, we went the same array where the apparition took place. The ghost did not disappoint us. He showed up to us, and it was confirmed by Hamlet itself that it was his father. They talked privately. According to Hamlet, the ghost revealed the story behind his father's death.
As a trusted and loyal friend of Hamlet, It was for sure that you knew about the play that was directed by Hamlet, about the mousetrap and the murder of Gonzago. What was your participation on that scene?
Hamlet personally asked me if I could be an observer on King Claudius towards the theme of the play. I agreed to do it. Our main goal was to get King Claudius' reaction so that we can implicate him on what the ghost told Hamlet, that he was indeed the killer of King Hamlet.
Did you notice some unusual reaction from King Claudius?
Oh yes, no doubt. Based on King Claudius' reaction, his guilt was manifested through his facial reactions. I personally judged him as the killer, when he immediately ran away towards his room, asking to light his way.
Mr. Horatio, based on your statement that Hamlet was dear to you, and passing on King Claudius' judgment as the killer of King Hamlet, isn't it that King Claudius personally asked you to watch Ophelia because she was losing her insanity?
Yes, I would admit that King Claudius had asked me to watch over Ophelia. She was confused, and the king thought that her life might be in danger.
It was obvious that you were not able to fulfill your obligation. Can you state what happened? How come the death of Ophelia occurred on your watchful eyes?
It was really a tragic on poor Ophelia. When King Claudius asked me to watch her, I received a letter from Hamlet. It was an emergency. Hamlet asked me to meet him. According to the letter, his ship that was supposed to bound for Europe was ambushed by pirates. He was able to survive, and the pirates helped him to go back to Denmark. That time, I was caught with two urgent matters. I knew that I was the only person whom Hamlet can depend, and I chose and went to see him. I never realized that Ophelia's life was also at risk.
In your personal opinion, was Hamlet crazy?
It is difficult to say if Hamlet is really crazy. First, he claims that he saw the ghost of his father, which I strongly agree to that fact. I personally witnessed that. Though his plan of revenge towards King Claudius was unjust, but he has a real motive on this action. It was unfortunate that 6 lives were sacrificed to accomplish his goal. I would say he was not crazy, but he really knew what was going on. He just took things on his own matter. Therefore, he is not insane but angry.
Based on your observation, what was the relationship of Prince Hamlet toward his father, King Hamlet?
I think Prince Hamlet was more of an obedient child to his father. Prince Hamlet indeed idolized and respected him so much as the King of Denmark. There was only strange about their relationship, and the time I spent with Prince Hamlet, he never really mentioned to me about the bonding relationship of his own father. Though he was determined to avenge his death, he never really mentioned that he loves his father, nor spoke to me about fond memories they shared. He though mentioned to me a particular friend who passed away. His name was Yorick. Prince Hamlet was fond to see him again. Despite in the form of a skull, he seems delighted and happy also.
How far will you devote yourself on your loyalty to Hamlet?
Even to his death, I was determined to follow him. I was going to drink the leftover of the poisoned wine that was mistakenly drunk by Queen Gertrude. The poisoned wine was intended for Hamlet. This was planned by King Claudius. which by then revealed by Laertes before losing his life. On my arm, my dear friend Hamlet, lying there and dying. I took the cup of wine and I am ready to drink it. Hamlet stopped me and told me his final request as a friend. He told me that I must live to tell his story, for I was the only survivor who knew everything that had happened. I promised from that day, before his life ended, his final wish will be done.